Hey guys, on the intro video I did when we picked this thing up, this is a 2001 Argo Bigfoot, big 25-inch tires on it, 6x6. These are amphibious vehicles. And we were discussing doing a frame out restoration on it. We were literally going to pull this thing completely apart, take the top off, separate it from the tub, which is held on basically by rivets all the way around. But he's anxious to get this thing up and running and frame out. The pace we work take us about a month to do, so he wants to get it up and running for summer and then maybe do the full frame out restoration on it, making it as new as possible in the fall. So I went ahead and power washed it out, see what we're working with, get all the gunk and dirt and shit out of it. And well, to be honest with you, everything is really good condition. I mean, some light surface rust, as you can see, in a few spots. You know, it's actually not that big of a deal. These things that happens with these are watercraft, so, you know, water will get into the tub. People leave them out, you know, things like that, and they fill up with rainwater and crap. So the main thing I'm going to be concentrating on is the chains. These things are really, really loose, and there's no tensioners on these front chains right here, so these are going to have to be replaced. These were put on incorrectly, so I'll go ahead and seat those correctly, where the bottom part of the chain actually goes over the top of the slider, not this top part. This top part doesn't slide over, but and see what condition those these front chains are. So there are some new bearings in it. Got the idler shaft bearing right here. So there's bearings on each end of that are new. Those bearings up front right here, those are new. And the middle axle and rear axle bearings all seem to be nice and tight. So I'm gonna shoot some grease in those, pull the chains out, get rid of the surfaced rust, basically do a quick refurbish on this thing. The biggest hurdle for this isn't the machine itself, because it's actually in really good condition. Like I said, everything looks good. It's going to be the engine. So it's a Briggs & Stratton 18 horsepower that came in this, and well, it wasn't even bolted in. It came as a basket case, so that's going to be the biggest challenge, is making sure that this engine is sound and can be put back into service again. This thing was put on, the bell housing was put on incorrectly. It's right in, it's a big mess. So yeah, I'm going to be working on the engine mainly. I got some extra parts for it. We got some lengths of chain. I thought he ordered this chain for like an 8x8, but it is way, way too long. So my guess would be is you can order these by the foot. And he ordered two, shoot, that looks like probably 15 or 20 foot lengths of chain per. And there's two of them in there. So I can cut those down, the double chains, and like I said, replace these front chains and the middle chains if I need to, and get this thing up and running so we can enjoy it during the summertime. So all right, well, stay tuned for a refurb on this, a refurbish. So let's go ahead and get started. I have it jacked up so I can pull the tires off and start lubing up these bearings and pulling these chains out. All right, let's do it. All right, so I went ahead and got all the tires off and lubed up all of the bearings and the seals. So you can see here what you want when you're doing this. So you're looking at the inner hub, contains the bearing in here, and then there's seals for the axle shaft. There's two of them, and they're rubber seals. And you lube up the grease in the seals where you can see it pouring out through this greaser, and then this one will lube up your bearings. So I did that on all of them. As you can see, a little bit of grease pouring out. That's what you want to see right there. Lubed up all these inner bearings as well. got it all done. I went ahead and removed those front chains because, again, those are just, they're going to have to be replaced. Whoever installed this, whoever installed the sprockets, they put them on backwards. It's of no consequence as long as it lines up with that sprocket, because these do slide back and forth, right? And as long as you line it up with that sprocket, you're good to go. But you can see right here, there's a little indent. This is supposed to be flipped around to where that will match up with that and lock into place to lock that sprocket down on the axle. It's all right if they free float a little bit. You know, they typically don't move back and forth, side to side on the axle itself, so it'll be okay for now. If I want it done right, I'm gonna have to pull that axle, flip that sprocket. So did the same thing on the other side. Goofy little mistakes on whoever replaced this bearing and that bearing there. When they pulled that axle out, they didn't do it correctly. So when I was telling you about the chains, so remember, this is incorrect. Whoever put that chain on, I don't know, maybe they didn't figure it out right away. So, but that is correct. So you can see how that chain goes over the top of the tensioner slider, keeps tension on the chain. So I'll go ahead and do that with this one as well, but these chains actually have a lot of life left in them, so I'm going to leave them. I'm just going to put them on the correct way. So everything else is looking good. I mean, I can't complain for what we got this thing for. It's actually in really good shape. So, all right, well, I'm gonna fix that chain right there. I'm gonna take the length or count the number of links on this one to cut the new chain and put some new chain in there. So, all right, let's get this done. Well, so I got everything cleaned up, got those mid chains mounted correctly. Thing of beauty. Idler chains are nice and tight. Rear chains nice and tight. Cleaned everything up. Was getting ready to cut those chains or break the chains for the front axle, and ran into a problem. So when I bought it from the guy, it came with two 10-foot sections of this stainless steel chain. Here's the problem. It's too small. So the Argo is a number 50 chain, 48 pitch, and this stuff is a number 40. You can see right there, it's just too small. So stainless steel, number 40 pitch chain. I looked this stuff up. So for a 10-foot bundle, like what this is, and there's two of them, this 10-foot bundle ranges between $200 and $300 on the internet, a couple of different chain places. And it's absolutely useless to me. Go figure, I can't use it at all. So I'm gonna have to order this. I'm just gonna order it off of argoadventure.com website, and each one of these front chain sections is about $50 a piece. Real cheap. I'll sell it cheap. All right, so I went ahead and got the engine put back together again too, since I don't actually know what was going on with the engine. Obviously, he had the carburetor torn apart, and it was pretty nasty and gunky in there, as you can see. So The carburetor was already torn apart, so I removed the carburetor and manifold, and came with a few extra parts here. So this is the top of the carburetor. Well, there's the, appears to be the old float, which is broken, so there was no rebuilding that one necessarily. I mean, I could have ordered parts and stuff for it, but I had a brand new carburetor and manifold in my little parts bin. Save a bunch of parts that I come across, or if I bought a part that I didn't need, ended up holding on to it. So I installed it on this engine. Still needs a starter motor on the side right here. I did fix the this forward clutch, this clutch right here. They had this bell housing thing on wrong. There are channels in there that the weights ride in, and they didn't install it correctly. If you go back on the first video I showed, this thing was sticking way out here. So this lip right here was way out here. They didn't line up those channels, and they just put it on. I don't know what they were thinking, but either way, new spark plugs. Like I said, got it all back together again, put some new oil in it and everything, and I'll have to fire it up or try to get it started and see what's going on with it. I can't test the compression on it with just a pull start. I can't get it pulled fast enough or long enough to build up any compression, so I'm gonna have to see if this thing's gonna work or not. I'll loosely set it in there, hook up fuel and everything, and whatever electrical I need for it once I get a starter for it, and crank it over. Maybe the new carburetor is going to do the trick, and it just needed a starter and the carburetor. So I'll be waiting on a new starter, and now I have to wait on getting some new chains to finish this and get it up and running. So yeah, it's a delay. So, well, I'll go ahead and end part 1 video here, and wait for those parts to come in. Thanks for watching, guys.